Someone wrote in and said, if you start a blowjob or cunnilingus, don't you have to finish? Like, we were talking about how you could say you were done with stuff. And they're like, don't you have to finish? Wait, go until they come. This is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
Cathy from theintimacydojo.com. Only on their birthdays.
Oh.
Only. That's the
Even on your
only
birthdays
rule.
you don't have to.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was a rule.
No.
Oh my goodness. You mean it's not a rule?
No.
You can stop doing anything whenever, unless you're an EMT and you're trying to resuscitate somebody.
Yeah, legally you're not allowed to.
Exactly. That's a whole different thing.
So don't start if you're not going to.
Yeah, so CPR, there's a rule if you're an EMT. And if you're an EMT watching this, please confirm that that is correct. We may be completely wrong. However, the thing that we are right about is that there is no fast and hard rule.
Sorry, guys.
And one of the reasons I'm being a jackass right now is I do want to like model that we can laugh about this because we're culturally taught the misinformation that like, you know, finish what you started. I mean, Van Halen wrote an entire song about this. Thank you, Sammy Hagar. So the way you do it is basically you would come up and be like, hey, guess what? I think I'm done. You may not be done, but I would like to move on to something else, or could we try something else? Or, you know, hey, my jaw's hurting, or my tongue is tired. Just being frank and honest with people and letting them know where you're at, which also includes, like, even if you're having intercourse or any kind of sex, that like, hey, you know what? My mood shifted and I'm kind of not in the mood right now. If we took this off the table, like what else sounds like fun, or how else can we connect or stay connected? You can also just call a timeout and check in with each other. The big advice from my perspective is you make it less weird, the less weird you are about it. Mm-hmm. Which means speaking up and being like, hey, you know, even if you're embarrassed, like, hey, I'm kind of embarrassed, but my mood's really shifted. And I don't want to be doing what we're doing right now. So can we do something else?
Yeah. I grew up with this kind of concept that if you started something, and I think it was perpetuated by some of the teenage boys that I was around, like, no, you have to finish. Of course you have to finish, because they had an agenda. And I think to a certain extent that they were taught that socially as well. But that disempowers people. If you can't control yourself, if you can't stop having sex, like, it's not safe to have sex.
Yeah, sex is supposed to be a get to, not a have to.
And even partway through, even in the middle of intercourse, even the moment before someone orgasms, you can stop.
Mm-hmm. It makes for better sex in the long run. And when you build that into the play time that you have with folks and date people or partner with people who are like, maybe we're disappointed, or like, I was really hoping you'd finish, but like we're grown-ups enough that we can be like, oh, okay, like let's honor that, because it just makes for better sex later.
Yeah. And
you're role modeling that you can communicate, changing your mind no matter what's going on, and that everyone can handle their own disappointment or their own frustration. Yeah. You can say like, you know, I don't want to finish this blowjob. Can I hold you while you jerk yourself off? Or whatever that is. There's always, kind of like with improv comedy, and sex is a funny thing. There's always a yes and, not an either or. Yeah. And the and can include, I would like to stop everything, and let's continue watching Game of Thrones.
I found that actually when I felt like I had to finish whatever I started, I was kind of locked in. I immediately stopped enjoying it so much. And I was less willing to try new things, because like if I tried it and I hated it, I had to finish. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I could like give someone a blowjob for a couple minutes, and if my mouth got tired or I just wasn't in the mood for that, give a hand job or say, hey, I don't want to do that anymore, it let me be more playful. And sometimes I could give a hand job for a little while and then get turned on again and want to, want to go back down. Mm-hmm. So not being locked into, as soon as I get my mouth down there, I'm supposed to do something until someone squirts or comes, can give you a lot of freedom.
What do you think? Leave your comments below. Is culture having its way with you now? I kind of look like I was pointing at my crotch.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like, boop, boop, boop.